A curious Marion County judge cracked it wide open to discover the secrets trapped inside.
10 TV's Brittany Bailey takes us inside this once hidden vault.
Howard Carter and his patron, Lord Carnarvon, finally discovered the last resting place of Tutankhamun.
Vaults and their secrets are a mystery that will make just anybody curious. You never know what's hidden inside. Gold, stash of money, or even human remains. You heard that right. Find out with this video. Let's dive in. Number 1. The historic vault. Here's something you've probably never seen before. A historic vault in a courthouse. But you're not the only one. This judge claims that nobody alive today has ever been inside this vault. It was first opened in the early 19th century, and since then, it has been locked by a guarded steel door. One day, the judge's curiosity got the best of him, and he tried to crack open the safe. After a few tries on the lock, he managed to hit the jackpot, but he was not prepared for what was waiting for him inside. Shelves upon shelves of documents lining up to the ceiling, lines and lines of immigration papers, court documents, and even execution orders.
Chocked full of history. 1839, executions from 1888. It looked like walking into some tomb from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
But there was one thing that even surprised the judge. Physical evidence of actual cases. Yes, in a tiny box, the judge found a knife, a bullet, and a pipe. It was like digging into a crime scene. Would you go through these documents too? Number 2, jackpot. Sometimes, vaults lead into entire homes for the scared. This is the Soviet bunker in Legatny. The man went inside to find an entire colony of stored goods that the people had put in for the preparation of the doomsday. Most of the stuff was rotting and rusted.
Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
But there were still a few extraordinary finds. American cars, GT7 masks, baby masks, filters, helmets, and a lot more are stored in boxes stacked over one another. What's surprising is that all of this is brand new, not even open from their pack. I can't tell if it is sad or horrifying. You decide. Number 3, the abandoned Nazi base. Finding strange vaults is one thing. What if you end up stumbling upon the Nazi base? It hasn't happened once either. Countless people have gone on expeditions on a hunch and ended up uncovering bunkers, bases, and even tunnels. Many of these explorations left big question marks instead of giving answers. These guys sifted through the sand at one of the hot spots and found many collectibles from the World War, including lapels, name tags, and even cloth pieces and ring. But these people were just going around. The next bunch actually went inside a vault. This group had found a secret location where the Nazis used to camp. Going into the tunnel, they found an entrance guarded by 30 feet of rock.
So the big tunnel with the minecart is past this wall?
Yes.
The wall consists of stones that have been stacked floor to ceiling and extend deep into the passage.
There was a whole passage and a wide tunnel, with railway tracks at the bottom when they went inside. Was it a mine or a secret transportation system? Number 4, King Tut's Cursed Vault. Vaults with bizarre finds are hard to digest, but what about the cursed vaults of the ancient pharaohs? King Tut's tomb was a dazzling find. It contained hidden rooms, numerous fancy items, a massive sarcophagus, and a story of a curse. But the best items were stored in the back of the room. Trumpets, toys, golden sandals, a throne, wall paintings, an iron dagger made of out-of-world metal, and a death mask.
The sarcophagus is very elaborate. It's got gold. It's inlaid with precious stones. And there's several layers of it before you get down to the central layer, which is, of course, the mummy of King Tutankhamun himself.
As fascinating as these finds were, researchers couldn't shake off the story of the curse. When the tomb was discovered, a man and his team suffered a terrible fate. First, the friend of the lead man died after 2 months, and then crew members started passing away. People started calling it the curse of the pharaoh. However, the scientific community believes that it had something to do with the horrid state of the tomb. The bacteria and the dust could have contributed to their deaths. Which story do you believe more? What is the most interesting thing about King Tut's tomb? Number 5, the cemetery. The Evergreen Cemetery is one of those sites that was never given proper care. Years of neglect have made it a dump site for people. But some people decided to go into the cemetery and see how it was from the inside. They were left shocked. It was torn down, rotting, and used illegally for many things. But the burial vault was in the worst state of all. Inside were multiple burnt caskets and human remains scattered inside the vaults. The area remains abandoned even today. Is there someone lurking in the corner of this cemetery? Number 6, the Strangest Vault. This is the most bizarre clip you'll see today. A family found a safe hidden underneath their new gym floor. They decided to crack it open. When they did, Their disappointment was evident. The safe had a few gallons of sludge hiding inside. Why would you even need to hide this in a vault? Number 7. The century-old house. Ghosts or treasure, you never know what you can find in an old house. This family was lucky. They found multiple buried spaces in their 140-year-old house. First, they found a tiny space at the back of the wall and decided to dig it open. There were multiple books from the early 20th century and a pocket watch. Then, a few days later, the man of the house heard a sound coming from the attic. When he dug deep, he spotted a tiny space with several bags of coins and dimes from the early 20th and 19th century. The family still looks around the house to see what more they can find. What's the best thing you have found in a treasure hunt? Number 8. The Terrifying Crypt. This is an abandoned cemetery in Belgium, but there was more to the story than what can be seen on the outside. The man went inside and found a hidden crypt leading downstairs. When he started going down, he could smell the mustiness of the atmosphere and the creepy feeling that he was getting on his back. He still crawled his way down and found multiple caskets of Jewish people that had been broken into by someone. Human remains lay scattered in the coffins, and the man couldn't help but feel anxious at the state of the burial vault. What do you make of this abandoned cemetery? Number 9. Breaking inside. This guy stumbled upon a bizarre safe and decided to crack it open. What he found inside was insane, to the point that he had to call the cops. These guys had bought a storage unit and planned to open it in 2 hours. This worked just in their favor, as there was only one safe inside the unit. But when the guys popped it open, they found a few bags hidden in the locker. The gang called the cops, and their hunch turned out to be right.
I bought the locker. It had this inside of it. It has all these bags. Some of them have some sort of substance, and then some of them are just nothing.
Just empty bags?
Yeah.
Do you want the empty bags?
No.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it, dispose of it.
Okay.
Anything else in there?
Do you think those are drugs?
It was at one time.
What kind of drugs?
Probably either meth.
It was indeed meth, years-old meth, that the police took off of their hand. What's the most bizarre thing you've seen in a storage unit? Number 10. The Isle of Man's Bank Vault. If you're looking for a sweet hiding spot to stash your money, this abandoned bank vault might be of a bit of help. Made by the genius inventor George Quayle, this bank was the first of its kind to be made on the Isle of Man. But the thing is, you'll never find it alone, not without the help of this video. Hidden in a small corner of an ordinary-looking room, the vault is guarded by a series of mundane and dusty passages. Even if you manage to find the actual vault, it has a lock so complex that it might take you days just to figure out how it works. Here's the surprising part. It still works, even after centuries have passed since it was made. When the explorers cracked open the vault, they found a few rotten currency notes from the Isle of Bank. Although the bank never worked out, the notes serve as a good memory of how ingeniously Quayle worked on the safe. The vault now remains abandoned. What would you hide here if you had the chance? Number 11. The safe underground. You'd be surprised at what people hide in massive vaults underground. This one is home to hundreds and thousands of Hollywood movies. Subtropolis is a huge space spanning millions of square feet. Inside, you'll find a network of limestone caves and tunnels. But what's interesting is what's at the back of the cave, the vault for Hollywood movies. This safe holds millions of movie tapes dating back decades. Whenever one starts deteriorating, the workers on site restore it and then put it back on the shelf.
Keep the films from deteriorating, we regulate the temperature and humidity. Temperature is 45 degrees, and the humidity we keep at 35%. The material normally would last 150 years.
Which movie would you pick out of this huge collection? Let us know in the comments. Number 12. The safe in the library. Some houses have secret rooms, like this 500-year-old house with a small library opening. When the homeowner found the opening, he propped it open and went inside, finding books littered around the space. He crawled in further to find a safe hiding in a narrow corridor. He picked it up, brought it outside, and cracked it open. Inside, there wasn't anything of monetary value, but the house's builder kept a couple of books, a letter, and a few pictures. Does your house have a secret room? Number 13. The new Torque Time Capsule. This time capsule is from the year 1914, and the crowd couldn't help but be excited at what was hiding inside. Apparently, this time capsule was sealed in by a Wall Street businessman a century ago. When the crowd peeked inside, they saw multiple documents of that time in New York when the region was a commercial hub. There was also a letter inside, addressed to the future governor of the year 1974, tucked away in the documents. Too bad he never got to read it. Do you know anything about the New York of 1914? Number 14. The John Wick safe. Are you a fan of John Wick? Did you know that some limited edition safes were built especially for movie buffs? This is the $100,000 John Wick's safe. Only a few of them were built, not more than 10, and it is the dream box of any John Wick fan out there. Inside, you'll find multiple prop guns, the ones used in the movie and those based on the story. Apart from that, there are several knives and a bloody pencil in the vault too. But the showstopper of the entire safe is the couch that pops out when you open the vault. You can sit in there with the glass shelves holding the props and cherish the marvelousness of this vault. Number 15, the Fancy Gold Vault. Welcome to the Bank of England, the world's second largest vault to store precious gold nuggets. But there's one problem. The map leading to this vault is blank. Nobody knows how to get to the safe, except for a few people. Only a small, lucky crowd knows exactly where the safe is hidden, and you won't be one of them today. What's shocking is that this is not the only gold vault here. About 9 of them are tucked away in a corner of the bank, guarded by thick, massive, and mighty strong steel doors. Inside the 9 vaults, a total of 400,000 gold bars are stacked neatly on shelves, glittering and shining. But nothing could prepare you for what I'm about to say next. Experts estimate that the worth of the gold bars in these vaults sums up to over $313 billion on the scale. $300 billion. That's some crazy amount of money right there, isn't it? Number 16, the Abandoned Vault. Here's something that will make you want to poke your nose in abandoned building. This bunch had the good luck of finding an abandoned bank. They decided to creep into the hollow building and found their way to the locker room. They were smart enough to crack open the lines of deposit boxes to see what was inside. While most of them were empty, a few of them had just what they were looking for: money. Several $100 bills and a couple of $20 bills were found in a few boxes. But there was something inside these lockers that they didn't expect to see: bars of silver. Imagine stumbling upon such precious finds. Number 17, the Seed Vault. Forget vaults for money. This one hides a thing that's common in every nook and corner of the world: plant seeds. It might sound boring, but this idea alone got the world to donate over $500,000 to the vault. Yep, the Seed Vault of Norway hosts the entire global population of seeds, including crops that are no longer in use.
Here we have boxes from Russia, and here we have boxes from Ukraine. And even if they are enemies abroad, outside, in this seed vault, they cooperate.
We aren't even talking about a small number of seeds. No, there are several 100 million seeds from thousands of species of plants in this seed vault. This secret vault is hidden at the farthest corner of the world, about 800 miles from the North Pole. But it was made that way to be far away from the fighting country. Guarded by 5 long tunnels and 5 locked doors, this vault is supposed to act as a backup for when things go haywire. But to keep thoughts of doomsday far away, they have put up a pretty entrance to the vault that lights up on long, cold nights. Would you want to visit this place? Number 18, the Secret Documents. The Vatican archives are one of the world's most perplexing mysteries. Barely anyone knows what's going on inside the 4 walls. That was until today. This footage will give you a sneak peek into the Vatican archives, which is the hub of controversy. Inside, you'll find lines and lines of shelves as far as your eyes can take. Experts estimate that there's at least 53 miles of distance between the shelves. On them are a minimum of 12 centuries worth of documents. But that's not all. Nobody is allowed to skim through these documents except a few old scholars who undergo a tiring approval process. Because of the intense secrecy, there are an insane number of controversies surrounding the vault. Some people think that the people there are hiding the location of the Ark of Covenant. Others think there are documents in the Vatican connecting to the Illuminati, while a few think the vault hides secret documents about Jesus' lineage. What do you think? Are all these wild hoaxes, or is the Vatican hiding something in over 35,000 catalog volume? Let us know in the comments below. Number 19, Chase Burial Vault. This is no ordinary vault. People call it the Cursed Vault. If you hear the story behind it, you'll join the party. The Chase Burial Vault was built in the 70s to hold the remains of the Chase family. The first coffin was put into the vault in 1807. For years, nothing happened. But when the second coffin was placed in the vault, strange things started happening. When the vault was opened in 1812, the crowd saw that the coffins inside had moved. It didn't cause much of a stir. After that, when the vault was opened, hundreds of people would witness that the coffins had moved again. Even the remains were found to be scattered. Seeing the strange phenomenon, an investigation rolled open. But what they found was even more bizarre. There was no hidden passage, no secret room, no tunnel inside the vault that could suggest involvement of human activity. What do you think is going on here? Ghost? Number 20, the secret Mercedes vault. Imagine a vault for cars. Not just any car, but the good old classics that are no longer on the road. This is the Mercedes Vault. There are about 11 of them scattered all over Germany. From vintage cars to the limited edition one, you'll find every vehicle parked in this massive vault that Mercedes has ever built. You'd even spot the earliest horse carriage ride from vintage automobiles to the latest sports car Lewis Hamilton drove back in 2017. So, it is a diverse collection. If we're talking numbers, over 1,100 cars are crammed into this vault only. God knows how many cars are parked in other safes. But this isn't a dump site. No, some of these cars are so expensive that you'd rather buy a house in Berlin right by the lake with the view of the sun setting. The price tag on these cars goes beyond $50 to $100 million. That's more than a couple of modern Ferraris combined. None of these cars are for sale though. Mercedes wanted to keep a private collection of everything they had built so far, and they decided to do that by building a secret car vault. Which car would you want to see from this collection? Number 21, the sneaker vault. You've probably seen a lot of vaults, but have you ever seen a vault for sneakers? This guy went into a top secret location where he wasn't even allowed to film the outside of the vault. Inside, there was everything that a sneakerhead dreams of collect, from Jordan 1s to Travis Scott, PlayStation Jordan, from shoes made for Michael Jordan and Will Smith to sneakers worn by Kobe Bryant.
Vault just itself, like a tiny portion of this whole warehouse, is worth between $3 to $4 million.
This collection was as crazy as it could get for a sneakerhead. We are talking about $100 million worth of sneakers stacked in boxes on shelves, away from the public eye. Many of these sneakers were not even released and were only used once for promos or advertisement. One sneaker had neon shoelace, but that version was never released. Only the ones with normal shoelaces were publicly sold. If you could go through this collection, which shoes would you look for? More importantly, if getting one of these pairs was free, which one would you take? Number 22, the old grandma house. A man found an abandoned house and decided to look inside. It soon dawned on him that the house belonged to an old woman and must have been built a century ago. But what was inside the house left Jim confused. Apart from the 3 floors riddled with boxes and rotten furniture, the man spotted a secret room that led up to the house. It was like a lookout tower with high-rise windows on almost all sides. From there, you could see the view and spot from miles away. Why do you think an old woman needed a lookout tower? Number 23, the vault for Bitcoin. Did you know there's a vault for Bitcoins too? Hidden in the mountains of Switzerland, there is a cave that leads to one of the country's most secretive vaults. Years ago, it was the secret headquarters for the Swiss Army during the Cold War. Today, it stores Bitcoins from all over the world. But where exactly is it? That's the interesting part. Inside the granite mountain, you'll have to walk through a narrow, long tunnel that opens up to the lobby of a spacious, 3-story tall building. There are about 3 buildings there, and each is connected to the other via more tunnels. The entire system is intricately guarded, with fingerprint scanners and steel gates weighing 4 tons. Even a nuclear bomb won't affect these vaults. Would you store your digital currency in this vault? Number 24, the Lego Vault. I bet you didn't know there's a vault for Legos too. Hidden in the Lego Museum, there's a vault that no one ever sees. Barely anyone gets to visit and peek inside the secret world of Legos. But this guy got the sweet chance to take a gander at what's hiding behind the secret door. More Legos. But these weren't ordinary building blocks. Here, you can find one of the oldest collections of Legos, dating back to the 60s. You could also spot the earliest minifigures introduced by the company. But the most expensive item in this vault is the one and only Millennium Falcon. Yep, a box that holds a little over 5,000 pieces and costs nearly $1,000. Wait, there's one more secret room in the museum, a Star Wars-themed room for the nerds holding anything and everything that the company designed for the fandom. What would you take from this room if you could have anything you want from here? Number 25, the Time Capsule. Some vaults are meant to be opened decades later to help people of the future peek into the old time. This Salt Lake capstone is one of the vaults placed on the temple in the late 19th century. It was a big event with large crowds gathered to see the capstone laid. But now, 128 years later, it was finally time to crack it open. The time capsule was hard to open, but after hours of hard work put in, the 3,800-pound ball of concrete finally popped open. Inside were artifacts on the capstone's north north, east, west, and south side. From coins, medallions, and gold-plated copper sheets to nearly 400 engraved coins that allowed the crowd to look back in history, the time capsule stayed true to its word. Some old books, blurred photographs, and letters were also present, but they had become damped because of the concrete.
They are laminated together because of the moisture from the concrete, and no photographic image remains.
What do you think about this time capsule? Number 26. Royal Burial Vault. This vault was built especially for corpses of the royal family. The Royal Burial Vault is a special place located under the St. George's Chapel. It was built decades ago, in the 15th century, even before Westminster Abbey was built. The vault was designed to host all the members of the royal family. Currently, 24 members of the most popular family in the United Kingdom are buried in this vault. A small hole in the chapel leads to the vault inside. The coffins are lowered and placed inside the vault from here. Have you ever seen the chapel from the outside? That's all, folks. The bizarre safes, the secret room, and the hidden underground bunkers that will leave anyone intrigued. Which one was your favorite find? If you have your very own story of a strange discovery, the comment section is open for you. Leave your thoughts and stories below. While you're at it, make sure you hit the subscribe button and smash the like icon. Stay tuned for more.